when you're starting a new transaction file, all you have to do is be consistent when naming those files. So here's some that I've typed in the past, autofill features from my browser settings. But we're going to use our new referral or new client prospect. I'm going to put in how I just like to name my files here. Williams, Jeremy, and Williams is we're just going to stick with the buyer, single family residential buyer. But again, just name your files however you would consistently do that. Your office may have a standard feature where they like as well. So we're just naming files. Next thing we're going to do is going to choose a type. What type of transaction are we starting? It's not required, but it can just help start adding details to your new file. Descriptions if you choose to. If you have an ID, an MLS ID, in some instances also public record. If we have tax record integrations with your provider, Hilton Head, it's with your MLS. And I'm going to show you how we can import that MLS property information into your transactions. Here you can do it right to get started. I'm going to show the not so obvious place from within our transaction file. Additional ways to add details to our new file by populating from previous transactions or from transaction templates. I'm a huge fan of templating your transaction files. We do offer follow-up sessions to show you how to create that type of content for your account, just so that you can predetermine forms that you automatically want to start files and get started from those templates. So we're not going to use it for this session, but certainly offer follow-up sessions to show those functions. I would like to. We are going to use the wizard. We're going to walk through just to continue to add detail, property information, contacts, the forms, things like that to our new file. We are going to identify ourselves as the selling agent. Our broker will be added in. We will be added into this transaction file on the selling side, representing this buyer. I could change that if I needed to, but otherwise just going to click down, bottom third of the screen, right-hand side, starting the new transaction. Pardon my mouse for a moment. If I collapse that go-to training sidebar, there is a go-to training sidebar. This is a live webinar session, so please do type questions into that go-to training sidebar, the chat section. We will be reviewing those questions, working them into the session, or answering directly through that chat dialogue. But please do type your questions using the go-to training sidebar. If that sidebar has collapsed, you're going to see a little red box with a white arrow in the top right corner of your computer screen. Make sure it's an arrow, a red block with a white arrow that will expand and collapse that go-to training sidebar. The material section is of value, as well as that chat section to type questions. We are starting our new transaction file. One, pop-up messages. Please allow pop-ups from TransactionDesk. You will be prompted when you log in or when these pop-ups try to, if your browser or have settings to be blocking pop-ups, please always allow pop-ups from TransactionDesk. Not necessarily for this pop-up message, which we can easily not show again, but this message merely states, working with transaction files, there's no required information. Don't worry about adding it now. You can come back at any time and add details to our transaction. So I do a lot of these sessions, so I have to go over this dialog box each time, but you don't, so suppress that dialog box. Read it once, and then you should be good to go. Because it's just talking about starting this new file, which is what we're doing. We're starting a new transaction. We are replacing any manila folders that we might have used in the past with an online transaction file. We're going to start adding some details to this file. Property information, do we have any right now? Maybe, maybe not, especially if it's just a new buyer, probably not, unless they're that golden goose buyer who is calling you with a request to help them write an offer. I found a property, I just need you to type up an offer. Most of the time, you're going to be showing properties prior to that. But the details that we add here, if you scroll down a little bit, in addition to address, city, state, zip, legal description, you can see for listing or sale, listing files, list price, inclusions and exclusions, for buyers, purchase information, total financing, not required information, but it will autofill the form fields. So when we add forms to our file, this detail will autofill those forms. Next step, because there are no required fields, we just click on the blue next arrows to go to the next element, if you will, or next details of our file. Dates. Do we have any dates for this client or this transaction? If it's not immediately obvious, these blue calendar icons, by clicking on them, it's going to pop up. A value of a pop-up message for calendar icons, for saved prompts, for for all of those different little reminders and alerts throughout TransactionDesk platform. So pick your dates. If you don't know them, don't worry, just go by them. But I just wanted to show choosing from the calendar to add those date fields. Clicking on next, again, just building the details. What do we know about Jeremy Williams and this buyer? We know their name, and we know we want to add them to our transaction file as a contact. I would like to, top third of the screen, center, I would like to add new transaction contact. But before I do, I just want to emphasize this phrase, I would like to. We are now going to start seeing it routinely and consistently throughout TransactionDesk and our transaction files. Every time you see that phrase, that's right, I did say every time you see that phrase, it's going to be in association with these drop-down triangles that are going to yield menus. Now, I didn't say there's always a lot of choices, but there's always a few, and important ones, that these are the features and choices within the TransactionDesk platform for InstanetForms and Authentisign. In this instance, transaction file, adding a contact, I would like to add new transaction contact and click on the arrow to go complete that action of adding the contact. Who's the contact going to be? Well, it's going to be Jeremy, and Jeremy is a buyer. So he is the type of contact. He's a buyer type, and I'm going to add that transaction type of contact to my transaction file. Continue is in the bottom right corner, bottom third, right-hand side. Choose the contact type. Click on Continue. Now we're going to add, customize, or personalize this. We're personalizing our buyer contact with our client's name, Jeremy Williams. And any other information that we know about Jeremy. I'm just going to drop in a cell phone and an email address. I'm also going to add Jeremy to my TransactionDesk contacts, bottom third of the screen, left-hand side. Add to my contacts, because that will initiate two actions. When I click Save, two actions will be initiated. Save, bottom right corner, saving this contact information. Two things happen. Jeremy is added as a buyer contact to my transaction file. Because I selected that checkbox, Jeremy has also been added to my TransactionDesk contacts, top third, left-hand side. So I can insert Jeremy into future transaction files, into future signings, into future email messages or other services through the TransactionDesk platform. If there are additional buyers, brothers and sisters, parents and children, husbands and wives, we want to add them in separately. We would go through the steps to add a new buyer contact, that second buyer, that third buyer, and so forth. Add them in separately so that each will autofill those printed name fields in our forms and contracts, which is the next step. Oddly enough, the next step, as I click Next, is going to be adding these forms. You see the phrase, I would like to. When there are no forms in our file, the only thing we can do is add forms. So with that, I'm going to click here on Go. And we're going to access a couple forms here within that Hilton Head MLS Forms library. Quick Start groups, you can packet together groups of forms to quickly access and add a set of forms to the transaction. Otherwise, until you set up that type of content, we can select forms individually. What forms are we going to need for this type of transaction, for this particular client or prospect? So let's choose a few here out of the list we've got here. There's contract for sale. We'll choose that one. Some disclosure and disclaimer. We're going to choose that. We're going to press and hold the CTRL key on our keyboard. We're going to press and hold that key down on our keyboard to select the additional form. we are going to select another one more here, exclusive agency agreement. I'm going to press and hold the control key and select the additional form. So again, press and hold the CTRL key and use the mouse to select multiple forms. So I am not holding the control key down now. I am not holding it down. When I want to select an additional form, if I have one down here, just grab one. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Now I'm holding down the control key, clicking to select the additional form. So in that fashion, I go through the list, I select the forms I want to add, and I click bottom third, right-hand corner, Add Selected Forms to the transaction. And that's all I'm doing right now. Again, right, we're just jumping through, we're adding the known details. What do I need for this new transaction? And this is where templates can come in, because you already know those 4 or 5 forms you need to add every time. So you create a template. You identify those forms within your template. You then start your transactions from those templates. But last step of the wizard, just to finish it out, you see bottom third left-hand side, you can save and exit. After any step or at any point through the wizard, you can save and exit out to your transaction overview. Last step, though, just to finish what we started here, the wizard sharing. Again, part and parcel to first creating a share. If you work in a team or with a team or with a business partner, you can create a share group and then share your transaction files with that person or group of people. But I'm going to save and exit out of the wizard. Save and exit from the wizard and into my transaction overviews of my Jeremy Williams transaction file. So we just walked through the wizard, and all the wizard did was walk us through features of our new file. Those features can also be found here, what I refer to as the dashboard. I'm in the middle third of the screen, the left-hand side, these red bullet points. Under the transaction options header, we have overview, which is the view that we're looking at right now. This is the page we're looking at with the I would like to drop-down menu and the transaction information and the contacts participants and the forms that we've added. This is referred to as the overview. All these other bullet points, just look at what we just did. Dates, yep. We went through the wizard and added dates, and we added property information, and we added contacts and forms. We had an option for sharing. So all the wizard does is prompts us to add details to these elements of our transaction file. Other elements are the history, captures all of the activity that takes place within your online file. Time and date stamps when the activity took place. All of it, all the time. General information, you can update the name of your file, the status of your file, so it gives you that type of access to rename or update the status of your transaction. Property information, we saw that, the address, city, state, zip, list price, details of that nature. Call logs, nice opportunity to log substantive conversations that you have with cooperating agents or clients. You can log those phone calls online in your transaction file, call logs. Contacts and participants, we added buyer contacts to our transaction file. While we were doing that, you can also grant those contacts what we refer to as participant access, third-party access to your transaction files. Authentisigns, which we are going to see here in about another 3 to 4 minutes. We're going to look at typing up the online form, and then we are going to go to Authentisign to prepare those forms for digital signature, which will take us to the next, forms. Not going to segue there quite yet, but there's the forms link that we added forms and sharing where we had the option to share our file with other members of our real estate office. Transaction overview is what we're looking at. I would like to is the phrase I want to continue to emphasize. When you see that phrase, you're going to have choices. Within the transaction overview, I would like to menu. We can print forms to PDF. We can add more contacts. We can archive our file. We can import data into our existing transaction file. We created the Jeremy Williams file. We can now import property information or other details into our file. I would like to import data, clicking on Go. Just to point out that there's a number of places to be able to access and import MLS detail into your existing transaction file. You just want to make sure that you are matching up your property types with your MLS IDs. Hopefully I got this one right. If not, I think it might be the villa. But we're going to go with the homes first, and we're going to import bottom or middle third right-hand side provider, property type, and MLS ID. We're going to import that information into our existing file. We can come back here at any time and re-import property information into this file, whether we are updating listings or listing files with that MLS information, whether we're importing property for our buyers. We have that opportunity to bring that detail into our transaction. We benefit because that detail, we will autofill our forms with this transaction detail. So there it is, Blakers Boulevard, list price, dates, all kinds of good detail pulled within. You can also see listing brokers and listing agents came over from that MLS import as well. So good content coming over within that MLS import. We saw we could have used that feature when we started our file, but we always have an option to import it to our existing. Again, transaction overview screen. I would like to drop down menu. It's an important one. A lot of good features. All right, from the dashboard, again, left-hand side of the screen, that left-hand column referred to as the dashboard, clicking on the InstanetForms. Second from the bottom, going to the forms that we've added to this transaction file. 4 forms that we've added so far. I can add more forms. I can auto-populate my forms. I can email or print my forms to PDF. So ways to deliver these forms outbound. The one that we want to focus on here is auto-populate, update those forms. Clicking on that link or choosing it from the drop-down menu, I just get in the habit of clicking on the link so that our property details and dates and contacts, all of that information now auto-fills into our form fields. All forms have been successfully updated. And I click on the form name to open that form in Forms Edit mode. So I click on the form name to go to Forms Editor, to type up the online form, where the keyboard meets the contract. This is where we could start typing up the fillable fields within our online form. Again, pardon my mouse for a moment while these forms load up. A good time for questions. Not really going to spend too much time here in Forms Editor. I'm hopeful that most folks attending this session are competent with typing up an online form. So we are going to speak to the option. Here are the 4 forms we've added so far in the column on the right-hand side of the screen. Maybe the nicest thing about this column is the little red minus sign in the top corner. Again, right-hand side, top third. When I click on that minus sign, it collapses that column against the right-hand side of the screen. Now it's a plus sign, so I can expand it to see those forms again, but certainly minus to shrink it back against. Autofill, MLS ID populated or filled, names, IDs, email addresses. All this content came over from our transaction file. When we imported from the MLS, it brought in those cooperating agents. The autofill populated their details into our forms and contracts. Address came over, list price, dates here were added in. I guess this is a exclusive right to sell, so wrong form, but right idea. All the blue fields are fillable. Even the calendar fields where you can select from a calendar or date fields, you can also type into those fields. These type to add detail. So formatted to populate from calendar fields, also type into those fields. Go through, complete all the required and optional fields. All of the light blue fields are fillable. Scrolling down, check boxes and yes, no's, and all these features, all the light blue are fillable. Type or paste. There are no restrictions from copying and pasting. Anything that you can copy to your computer's clipboard, so to speak, to your computer's clipboard, copy it. You can paste it into your form fields. So let me see, there's another field down here. And we'll throw it into the owner's name field just to show that you can paste, type or paste into that into those fillable fields. All right. Once you've typed up one form, expand those columns, go to that next form. Contract of sale. I think that would probably be a better one for our buyer client. Pop-up. One of the better examples or benefits of the pop-up message is save prompts. We made changes to our online form. We're prompted to save our changes before we leave that form to go to the next contract. You can make manual saves. Top third of the screen, left-hand side. We have some drop-down menus here in the top third of the screen, left-hand side. File drop-down to add new forms. We can access our forms library and add more forms to our transaction. We can save our changes. It's not available right now because we haven't made any changes, but we'll see how that will be updated in a second. We can export these typed up forms to PDF. Export the online form to a PDF. We can print them to paper. You still have these traditional delivery methods, right? Once you type up a form, you can print it. Once you type it up, you can export it or save it as a PDF. Once you type it up, you can email it outbound. So InstanetForms offers these traditional delivery methods. What we're going to see here in about another 90 seconds is Authentisign to prepare them for digital signatures. But again, contract of sale, names, populating, address, city, state, zip, details that came over from our transaction import, that were in our transaction file have mapped to our form fields. But type to add those details, type or paste to add details to required and optional fields. All right, so everyone feels good about typing up an online form. Now that we've added details, now we've made changes, see that the save diskette now is activated. That file drop-down, that save is now activated. We've made some changes. They need to be saved. So as we go to exit from Form Editor, we're going to be prompted to save those changes. We can make them manually, or we will be prompted before we leave the form. Type up your online forms. All of the light blue fields are fillable. Fill in the required and optional fields. Type them up. And again, once you type them up, you can print them. You can print them to paper. You can email them outbound. But as we're going to see now, you can now prepare them for digital signatures using Authentisign. So right from our transaction file, we're still in the forms, just so we're all centered. Where are we right now? We are in the InstanetForms section. I'm pointing in the dashboard, bottom third of the screen, left-hand side, InstanetForms, red bullet point. That's where we are right now. We're looking at the forms that we have associated with our Jeremy Williams transaction file. We are now going to go to Authentisign. Just above that red bullet point, again, I'd work from the dashboard. These are the features of our transaction that we want to work with now. We want to create a signing. Clicking here on Authentisigns, we're going to create a signing for Jeremy. We are going to plot where signatures and initials need to go and prepare these for digital signatures. This screen is basically telling us that we do not have any active or completed signings for Jeremy. This will be our first. We are going to create this new signing for Jeremy. Top third of the screen, left-hand side, create new signing. Because we are going directly from a transaction file, the two are linked. This signing is going to be linked with our Jeremy transaction file. We're being prompted with that information as we set up our new signing. The name, I'm going to put in here, we're just going to put purchase contract. And you want to make these unique because you're going to go through a series of signings with most of your clients. That agency signing, the contract signing, the counteroffer, the settlement statements. You can certainly think of a number of signing options as you go through that sale process. So name your signings. That's just the first thing you want to do is give it a name. And then click on Next. The next step in the signing is adding your participants. Who is participating in this online signing? Certainly Jeremy is going to be a participant and have signature requirements. I'm also going to add myself with signature requirements. So add the folks to your transaction file. But do take note of reviewers and CC onlys, because as I add these contacts to our signing, we are going to add more manually as well. So I just want you to recognize that yes, you'll be prompted with your transaction file contacts, but you can also add participants manually to your transaction, or excuse me, to your signing, excuse me. We're adding participants to our signing. So here's all the contacts that I have currently saved in my TransactionDesk contacts. I can select them from the contacts, or I can add them manually. I'm just going to add Joan Loan. And do think of this participant as you're adding their name, especially in the instances where they will have signature requirements. Authentisign is going to use this name as we're typing in it now. We've typed in Joan Loan to start building any signature or required initial blocks. So if it is for a signing participant, Authentisign is going to use this first name, middle initial, or middle name and last name to start building those signature and initial requirements. We want to add their email address to this, to the participant. What type? And Joan is just a loan officer. She's going to do a pre-qualification letter once we get this signed and ready to go. So she is not going to have signature requirements, but this type, buyers and landlords and listing agents and selling agents and tenants, when you have these types of participants, especially when they are in that role of signer, you want to make sure that you're adding them correctly. Reviewers participate in the signing. They can see the signing, the contracts, the process, but they have no initial or signature requirements. Maybe it's an attorney. Maybe it's a sponsoring or designated realtor that you want to review your contracts but not actually have a signature requirement. Joan is the CC only type, the lender maybe, or the title officer, somebody who is just going to receive a final copy. Once the signing is complete, Joan will receive, along with all of the other participants, Joan will receive a copy of the final signed executed document. So add your participants, name, email, type, and the role that they're playing. Save them to your contact database for future access. Add them to your signing. Add your signature requirements, your signers, your reviewers, your CC onlys. I'm going to go ahead and actually, just so we can see this through, I'm just going to go ahead and remove one of the signers here, show that step as well. Select them, selecting the checkbox, and then clicking on that little trash can, and yes, we want to go ahead and remove them. Do want to point out the order as well. Authentisign utilizes what we refer to as inline signing. It's a very linear order. Jeremy right now is that first signing participant. Jeremy will get the Authentisign invitation first. Jeremy will agree to and then complete his portion first before the next signing participant. Authentisign will then deliver the invitation to that next signing participant. Once first is done, second receives the invitation. Once second is done, third receives the invitation. Authentisign sends those out automatically. You as the creator receive notifications of the progress as it goes, but it is in line in that fashion, one at a time through that order. So make sure when you're adding your participants, you're also putting them into the appropriate signing order. When you've added and ordered, click on Next to now import and upload documents into our signing, because yes, we are going to be prompted with our document forms and documents that we've added to our transaction file. I'm going to add those in. The forms, InstanetForms that we've added through our transaction file, but we can also upload documents into our signing. Upload a file, top third of the screen. One of the essential features of Authentisign, the opportunity to upload offline documents into our online signing. Upload a file. Find where you have it stored, your C drive, your laptop, your desktop, your USB thumb drive, wherever you have that document stored. Select it. We're going to add it into our signing. JPEG images, PDF documents, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, doesn't matter what type of document, upload it into your Authentisign signing. Authentisign will convert it to an Authentisign document. So documents that you are uploading, you can delete or rotate pages. Take note of that. You can delete or rotate pages of a document by clicking on the document name. So you can access that document by clicking on the document name. You can review it. You can rotate the pages around. You can delete unnecessary pages from a multi-page document. Top third of the screen, right-hand side, rotate pages, delete pages. Manage those documents that you are uploading into your signing. We've imported from InstanetForms. We've actually benefited from signing templates. Authentisign has been set up to plot where those required signatures and initials need to go for the participants to our signing. Import your forms. Upload your files to your signings. Next, to plot where required initial and signatures need to go. Blue Next button takes us to step 4 to prepare our forms, uploaded documents, plotting where signature blocks and initial blocks are required on these typed up forms and contracts. Thumbnails on the left-hand column. Thumbnails, we'll go through each individual thumbnail, or at least the ones where we know or have requirements for signatures or initials. But each thumbnail, left-hand side of the screen, 8 pages of this signing. Navigation tools to zoom in or zoom out or find that appropriate width. I like fit width just as a better zoom feature for me. Drawing tools, top third of the screen, right-hand side. 2, I think that meet the immediate need. Create line annotations for strike-throughs or redactions. This line annotation to strike over or redact something. The T for text, to drop in a text box, either single line or multi-line of text if you need to add some content to your online document. So drawing tools to add some updates or macro or micro adjustments to your online document. So let's see what we have here. Page 1, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit, see if you have any initial or signature requirements. It looks as though we do, and that they have been pre-plotted by our signing template. For purchaser, initial, date field been added in. We didn't have a seller with this within this signing, but certainly for them as well. So plotted, initials, and signature blocks. This is where they need to go. Our signing participants will click to accept them. We plot them, we position them. Our signing participants click to accept them. So page 2, same thing. We are just reviewing and verifying where these need to be added, and the details have been added as well. So jumping down a page or 2, looks like we have down on some additional signature and initial requirements. Again, pre-plotted. Now, just because they're pre-plotted, hopefully I probably should have been mentioning this, they can still be moved around. I'm going to top third of the screen up on that Jeremy. Watch my mouse as I hover away, it's a hand. As I hover on the block, it tells me the block, gives me a little pop-up bubble, but also the mouse changes to a kind of a crosshair. Now, if I click and hold, I can move this block around. I can adjust the location. I can use the right mouse button to right-click on the block for additional formatting. Maybe it's the wrong person. I need to delete it out, or I need to add a full name field, or I need to flip that little sign here over to the side. Additional formatting features. When I use the right mouse button, it's a right mouse button for PC users. It's a double click for Mac users. But the right mouse click to delete, flip, or add formatting to that block. And every block has that. I can click on that date, maybe move it up and over a little bit. I can right-click on that date to remove it or to format it. So I can adjust these pre-plotted, these templated blocks are still able to be formatted. Let's drag and drop one so you can see that as well. Jeremy is the signing party. I know there's only one, so maybe it doesn't seem like it's going to be big of a deal, but that highlight is a big deal, especially when you have multiple signing parties. Whomever is highlighted is the party that you're going to drag and drop for. So make sure that when you have multiple signing parties that you are clicking to highlight the party that you want to drag, click, and hold to drag and drop a block. Right-click to add the formatting features. And any of those drag and drop blocks, signatures, initials, today's date, if it was today's date, not the date that the person is going to click to accept, multi-line text fields, QR codes, all of these features are available to plot on your forms and to be prepared for with Authentisign. The multi-line text, let's just do a single line. I'll select that feature, click and hold. Oops, I select the feature, click and hold to drag and drop. Because maybe we want to drop in a note field or some other feature. I'm going to drop that in. Background, we'll keep it transparent. Name of the block, I don't know, description. Doesn't really need anything, but you certainly can. If I could spell here. There we go. Description. Number of characters that I can type in there, maybe 50. Signer, you can also make it so that the signer, perhaps if you have requirements for a social security number or a tax ID or some birth date that you're not aware of, you can make it so that the signer is the one who's going to complete that box. So either it can be you typing up into that box, or it can be your signing participant who's typing to add details to that box. Both of those options are available. So let's do that. Let's show that. The signer is required to fill out this field. I'm going to click on Continue. So it's going to drop in that field, and we can still move it around. So maybe if I want to move it down below there, but again, you can still see I can move it around. Probably format it with the right click to delete it, or readjust those text box settings, something to that effect. Text boxes, so that you can add these blurbs or your signing participants can add those blurbs. Drop in, drag and drop initials, signatures, all the requirements for your forms and contracts. One more here, one more thumbnail, some other signature requirements. Again, signing party is highlighted. Click and hold. Let's do an optional one so you can see the difference between that. Click and hold to drag and drop onto the page. Right click to add the date stamp. Click and hold to drag it to the appropriate area of the page. You plot where the signatures and initials and features need to go. You plot them. As we'll see now, I'm going to click in next. We're going to leave our preparation step here. Step coming up on step 5, to finalize and send. But step 4, plot the required initial and signatures. Your participants will click to accept. Verify our content. Left-hand side, middle third of the screen. We can go back to any step of the signing setup. The name, the participants, the documents, the signatures and initials. We can go back to any of those steps. We can save and exit right now. We can come back and resend this at a later time. Authentisign is going to deliver the email invitations. We can customize the subject line. We'll call it the purchase contract. So again, we're just customizing the email message that Authentisign is going to send. The subject line, the body of the message, please review and sign or call with questions, something like that. Personalize that Authentisign email, save your personalizations, triple verify the email address that you're sending out the invitation, click finalize details and send when you are ready to deliver. You will be prompted, just like any good program, it's going to prompt you. Are you sure you're ready to send this invitation? Yes, I am. Authentisign is going to prepare and deliver the Authentisign invitation to the first signing participant. First signing participant in our signing order, they're going to receive that email. We can come back. You can see our list of all the signings that have created thus far. You can come back to any of those. Clicking on the signing name is going to show me the progress of the signing. I can resend invitations. I can take some actions to add CC recipients for the final document. So we have access to even, let me go back to the main view here. You can see we can also reset. Middle third, right-hand side, resetting the Authentisign will rescind the email invitation. It will rescind that invitation, and you can update your signing. It just resets it back to step 5. It'll put you at step 1 of the wizard, but it will retain all of the signing information that you prepared. So you can make any needed adjustments to the detail that you added. But the reset essentially just rescinds the email invitation that you've sent out. Speaking of email invitation, I'm going to tab over. We're going to go to this Gmail account. We're going to check on this. Should be there. Oops. We're going to see that first signing participant. You want to know what your signing participants are going to see. My best encouragement for you is to create signings for yourself. You are your best guinea pig. Create the signing. Add yourself as the signing participant. Maybe your business partner, your life partner, your children, your butcher or grocer, someone that you just think would be interested in participating in a couple demos, just so that you can get a feel for the process and not have not to feel like any of your clients are going to be your guinea pigs. You can be your own testing guinea pigs. Anyway, receive that email message, and I do want to point this out. We are sender in name only. The email is being delivered from secure@authentisign.com. 8, 9 times out of 10, that invitation is going to be delivered right to your participant's inbox. Just like mine, that most of your 8 or 9 out of 10 will be delivered right to that inbox. There are going to be some instances where the recipient's email account is going to filter that message, that invitation. Because of that email address secured Authentisign, some email providers are going to filter that. Please have your participants check those spam or bulk folders for these invitations. If they swear they didn't receive it and you've triple verified that you spelled the email correctly, have them check those spam or bulk folders. Once they find the message, clicking on the message will open it. Remember, that is that customized message, the details that we added. Otherwise, really all they're going to do is either click here on the words or on the big blue image. I'm going to go with the big blue image to start this signing. Everyone, yourself included, the first time that you go through the Authentisign process, the first time that you're invited, even when you're inviting yourself, you are going to be prompted to create an Authentisign profile. This is when you create your Authentisign profile. The first time that you use Authentisign. You'll see that your username is your email address. Your password is going to be a unique password to you or your signing participant. These are the steps that your signing participant will go through. These are the steps that you will go through the first time. You're creating this profile, which includes choosing either a font style, selecting that font style. Oh, they don't match. I didn't think they matched. Hold on. There we go. All right, now they match. Now I want to select the font style. I'm a selector of style, so there's about 5 here that you can choose from. If you prefer to be more personalized, Instanet Ink. You can use your mouse, or if you're on a tablet, you can use your finger to create your own signature style. So you could choose, and if you do, please go big. What you want to do is make sure that it tries to fill up this entire space. So you could choose to use the Instanet Ink feature here. And if you don't like it, you can refresh it. Bottom third, right-hand corner, that little green arrows will refresh to start over, or you just click Next to add in the initials. So you can use this Instanet Ink feature. Whoop, I get to use, there we go. That's a J, W. You don't like it, you refresh it. You like it, you approve it. So that you have this personalized signature. Rather than a selected font, you have a personalized signature. We've got our profile. Third step is the terms of service. You'll only be prompted with this the first time. You can always look at it, but familiarize yourself with the terms of service, confirm and accept the Authentisign profile, an invitation to participate in the online signing. Create the profile. Username is your email address. Personalized password. There are Authentisign password retrieval tools, so don't worry. You will have that opportunity. But create that signature or choose from the pre-selected font styles. To gain access to the signing documents, 8 pages, thumbnails on the left. Still like the fit width, zoom. Click Start Signing button, and Authentisign will locate and highlight the first signing block. Start signing. Top third of the screen, right-hand corner, participants, click Start Signing. Authentisign will locate and highlight the first signing block. Your participant clicks to accept the block. When they do, Authentisign applies the font style, and in this case will also apply that date stamp. They will click to accept. They can certainly scroll up and down the page here. I'm just going to quickly go the way I think most people are going to sign. They're just going to, when they're prompted to click to accept, they're going to do so. We have 5 remaining signature lines here, signature lines here, and date stamp is added. Here is the description field. So if they needed to type to add details, my social security number. You didn't think I was going to give you the real one, did you? They can add that content to the page. They can click to accept the additional. Here's the accept or decline. So this is the optional. So anytime you were to drop an optional initial or optional signature, when your participant clicks on it, they're going to be given the option to accept the signature and plot it, or decline the signature and leave the block empty. So if I click on decline, it's going to remove that block from the page. I'm not accepting that particular signature or initial. We have completed, clicked to accept or not all of the blocks that have been plotted for us. But you'll see that we still have access to the signing. I can go back now to any page of the signing. I can review and read and make sure that I agree to what I just signed. I can still reject the signing. As a participant, I still have access to reject the signing. But we're here to accept. We want to accept all. We're done. We've clicked, we've read, we understand. Even Authentisign is going to prompt to stay and review. No, you're ready, you're done, you're reviewed, you're comfortable and confident. Yes, I am. I'm going to complete the signing. Authentisign will now deliver that invitation to the next signing participant. Once it's complete, we're going to get a little thank you message. Thank you for participating. This participant can come back and see the progress. They can re-log into their Authentisign profile. They have no access to do anything but review the progress, but they do have access to come back and review that. Closing that page, back to the email message. Actually going to tab back to our signing. Take a shot here and try to refresh this page. Well, let me just click on the name of the signing. Might have been timed out. Let me pause my screen here for a second and get re-logged in. Then we'll take a look at that transaction file. We'll see that final document, show you some features and so forth. Showing my screen again. So back in, clicking on the signing name, you can see that we have received a thumbs up there on status on the right-hand side of the screen. But clicking on the signing name, we come back in. We can review the progress, especially as you have multiple signers. You can review that progress, resend invitations. Final document. Here it is, the final signed document. I can click on that document name. It's going to launch that document. It's a PDF. It is a very robust PDF document, but it is a PDF just the same. It captures all of the digital signatures, time and date stamp, lots of certifications by GeoTrust, all of the features through the bookmarks and thumbnails. So we can click on any of these features on the right-hand side if you want to see the exact content of the signing. So take that opportunity there to review all of those features. Every signing has a unique signing ID. And as we scroll down the page here, we can see that digital initial, that date stamp. As I hover my mouse, it's going to show me that content captured within the digital feature. I can email this. I can print it to paper. The digital stamps and the time and date will all be captured and retained within the printed copy. But certainly can email it as well, deliver these to those appropriate recipients. With that said, I want to be very mindful of everybody's time. We're right at that hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and close this final document. I'm going to go back, top third of the screen, InstanetForms Pro. Clicking on that link is going to take me back to my TransactionDesk account. I can re-access my Williams transaction file at any time, come back, review, revise, add, take appropriate steps with that sale process. I'm going to re-raise this audio message. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to present. If you would like some follow-up webinar sessions, if you've taken a few, but would like something tailored to the time that you have and the content that you would like to cover, they're more interactive so that we can both speak and hear each other. We can talk and discuss implementation strategies. They are free. Tungle.me/webinar Greg is our calendar, and you can just choose and submit selected days and times to set up those one-on-one or for your team or office webinar sessions. Twitter.com/webinar Greg is always a good conversation going online there. YouTube.com/Instanet Webinars. We have over 100 videos posted there now. A couple different playlists, 1 to 3 minute how do I sessions, 5-minute tutorials, all the way up to 30 and 60-minute overview sessions. YouTube.com/Instanet Webinars. Sometimes a nice way for recorded content is so that anytime you have interest or insomnia, you can go to YouTube and check out some videos. If you have questions that you just hadn't come up with during the session today, you can email us, webinars@instanetsolutions.com. Questions, comments, general observations, we're always looking for email and commentary through webinars at Instanet Solutions. If you have questions, tech support questions, or want to purchase additional services to your existing TransactionDesk account, toll-free 800-668-8768. And just think of TransactionDesk as the platform. TransactionDesk is our online platform for real estate sales. Within TransactionDesk, there's InstanetForms, the online forms library that we looked at today, Authentisign that we looked at today. We also have DocBox for unlimited online document retention for all those signed contracts, as well as surveys and home inspections and settlement statements and all that documentation that you receive through the sale process. We offer a service called DocBox, integrated with your transaction files and TransactionDesk platform to retain. DocBox offers Broker File Manager. We also have a tasks and workflow. So just let us know how we can best assist with your implementation of online file management. And until we webinar again, I hope that everyone has a tremendous, tremendous day.